trainer right next to me is saying it. You may hear him. Down goes Frazier.
Hey, how's everybody doing out there? This is Jerry from the Neutral Corner. I want to thank everybody for joining in to the show. I don't know how to start this, so I'm just gonna try. The boxing world, amateur boxing, and especially USA boxing, really lost a friend, a family member over the weekend. I knew Gregory. I met him at the PAL a few times. I had a chance to talk with him at Aaron Bernardo's events and really got to know him and really pick his brain about boxing and the rules. And I said fighter, and he said, no, that don't say fighters. They're boxers. They're athletes. They train, which is true. But they're fighters inside their hearts. But I just wanted to show my respect and friendship and my prayers and condolences go out to the family. This is a really tough one. So the Neutral Corner just wanted to do a little 10 count for Greg. We love you. We miss you. Justin, if you could. That's a tough one, man. So much knowledge. He could tell me the year I was born. He asked me, and I told him, and he told me the number one song that was out during that time. He was a music lover, and he's going to be dearly missed. He was a genuine, great guy, and we'll miss him. Rest easy, my friend. May God bless your family and you. Thank you. So we're going to go on to the show tonight. We have over the weekend, there was a amazing show at the Seaport Inn and Marina in Fairhaven. Massachusetts State Police boxing team had put on an event. Was a great event. So we're having Steve back on to talk about the event because, you know, we talked about it leading up to the event, but when you actually got there and seen Steve and he's over here and he's over there, he's all over the place. You know what I mean? And the place sold out. It was packed, great action-packed fights. I mean, action-packed from every fight. There was not one fight. I'll tell you what, it wasn't the Ryan Garcia fight. It wasn't the Canelo fight. It wasn't the Devin Haney fight. These guys actually fought. In fact, I would rather watch this than those, because there was nothing going on in those fights. So we have Officer Brian on also, Massachusetts State Police. I hope I'm getting that right. Just thrown off a little bit. But we're going to talk about the event and how great it was and get the inside scoop of how crazy it was from Steve. So, Justin, if we could bring on Steve and Brian. He's Mashpee Police. Mashpee Police. I just got corrected. So, gentlemen, how are you, man?
What's happening, JJ?
What's up, everybody?
How you doing, Brian?
Good. How are you?
Good. Steve, we're going to bounce all around, but
that's how we do it.
what an amazing event, man.
Thank you, sir.
Little hiccups, but that doesn't matter. See, this is what I tell fighters, and Mike Tyson said it best. He said, "You don't know how good of a fighter you are till you come up against some adversity, something you didn't plan for. A lawyer doesn't know how good he is until he gets in the courtroom and something comes at him that he wasn't expecting. A doctor in the operating room, something comes up that he wasn't expecting." Something like that, when you run up against adversity like that, and you still make it happen, that just tells you the character of the person. And Steve, getting there, then you're finding out the ring's not making it. What's going through your mind?
So what goes through my mind, JJ, when hiccups happen, I immediately get on the phone and start calling to find a ring. So when I found out at that time in the morning that the neck on the trailer was rusted shut and nobody could move it, I started calling around to people to see if they had a ring. I called Libby from Fall River Pal. He did have a guy that could have did it. I don't remember his name, but thank you, sir. Libby can thank him for me. I call around and try and fix. So I call myself a fixer, right? Because if something comes up, I want to fix it. And it's in my brain that I got to get that ring there. I got to get it no matter what. If I got to pay somebody for a ring, if I got to get a tow company and pay them to bring it down because the neck wasn't broken and put on a flatbed, I got to do whatever I got to do to get it down there for the people that paid to be there.
So you got it there.
A little crazy.
On a back of a flatbed. And tell me about the team of guys that put that thing together, because I'm going to tell you what, it was nonstop.
So them guys are from Uptown Boxing Gym in Southbridge, Mass. It's a 501c3 boxing gym, USA Boxing Gym. Dave DiGregorio, Colby Naylor are the bosses over there. I'm forgetting some names, but those guys are absolutely phenomenal. So I even put up a post and I said, listen, doesn't get any better than – so Colby had come over to me and goes, Steve, don't worry, because he could see me. Don't worry. I got it. I'll bang it out in an hour and a half. I promise you. As the time was coming, I'm going, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Yeah.
So when those guys started banging that ring out, I've seen the ring put up 100 times. So much professionalism. They had people watching them, did not give in to the pressure. They didn't talk to nobody. They were just all business. Got to get this ring up for the fights. Got to get everybody ready. So it floored me just to see how composed they were. I'd have probably been going. I was going like this over at the t-shirt table, going, "Please hurry up, put the ring up."
You gotta think, and you know what was great. You gotta understand something. When they're bringing that ring in, the crowd's already there. The crowd's already gathering, and it was nice.
That night it was already there. Correct. Yeah, that night.
And people were giving them room to set up, so it wasn't like chaotic. They were going. They weren't stopping, but it wasn't chaotic. It was controlled chaos, if you will. But everybody. That's what I love about a boxing crowd. Everybody gave each other the room that they needed to get that done, and they got it done in an amazing amount of time.
It was incredible, absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
So people can say glitch here, glitch there, but you know what? Even my wife was saying it, and one of the fighters' girlfriends said it. Don't worry, you guys got this. You got this, and the positivity that I got from that day just to try and keep me calm, because again, as you said, I was bouncing all over the place. I didn't get to see as much of the action as I would like to, but that's okay. I'd much rather take care of the donators, take care of the team, take care of everything else, not necessarily behind the scenes, because I was pretty much out in front of everybody that night. And like you said, incredible. Every fight was incredible. A couple of knockouts, couple of fantastic knockouts, got to say it, couple of real banging knockouts that guys got rocked. And, there was a couple of fights of the night. I don't, Brian's here, so I don't want to say 1, 2, 3, 4. So Loftus against Rivera from Lowell, State Trooper Loftus against Rivera is up there. Brian's fight's up there. We had they were all great fights.
We're gonna get them up on a Neutral Corner page. Soon as we get done tonight, we're gonna get them up. I've been working, so it's hard for me to keep going back and checking that
me
thing,
too.
you know?
Yeah, I've been keeping up with it. Kelly did a fantastic job.
Let's touch on Kelly. Blind
Girl Media.
Blind Girl Media. Look her up, follow her.
Yep, unbelievable.
Great. I know she's a photographer. I don't know if she just specializes in sports, but I can tell you she's really good at the action sports like boxing. But let's go to Brian a little bit. I want him to just sit there but I want to get to his fight And you know it's Brian, and you know this is USA boxing, right? I mean, you don't know who your opponent is, and even if you know who your opponent is, that may not be your opponent come fight night because things get moved around, fighters get dropped. It's not like the pros where you can study your opponent for a week or two or a month or 3 months, whatever. What did you know about the fighter going into the fight that you had? He was a fireman, I believe. I'm looking for his name. I had it.
Alex Lozada, Chelsea Fire Department.
Yes.
I didn't know anything about him. I just saw his picture, and Steve called me a couple weeks ago and was like, "Hey, I know with my size and my experience, it was probably tough to get a fair matchup, but Steve matched us up and was like, hey, I got this guy Alex. He's obviously a really nice dude, good dude. He's been training." And that's all I knew. Steve wouldn't tell me anything about him. So I was trying to pick his brain a little bit and see if he could give me something on him. But he was, that's all I knew. So Jimmy, my coach, was, we both went into this just trying to, regardless of where it was, whether it was in the woods, the backyard, or the ring, whoever we were fighting, it didn't matter. We went in like we were going to, we were fighting Rocky. It didn't matter. We trained hard, and we trained as the best we could, and he gave me a great game plan from the get go, and I just stuck with it, and here we are. So I didn't know much about him. We had to train like we were fighting a freaking Hercules. It didn't matter,
And you know what? This guy's in shape, man. Too, Steve. He's in tremendous shape.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that fight. Man, that was action-packed all the way through.
Yeah. I had so many people that came up after, and they're just like, hey, dude, like, they're putting their drink down. They're walking up, and they're like, that was freaking – you guys went freaking at it. Like, what a Donnybrook. Like, that's what we're paying for. Like, that was awesome. And here I am. I'm like, hobbling off the stage. And I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. But no, there was but, I go back and check out a lot of the videos that the Blind Girl Media put up, and a lot of my buddies took videos, and I'm like, damn, that was actually a really, really good fight. And that kid, Alex Lozada, was tough as hell, man. He was incredibly talented, and definitely an honor to get in there with him and exchange some punches. So he did a great job.
Yeah.
It was great.
I seen your coach is what's his name?
Jimmy McGee.
Now, what gym's he at?
So he coaches out of it's East Falmouth Boxing, and we coach out of it's USA Fitness in East Falmouth.
Yep.
So he coaches. I guess he owns East Falmouth Boxing, and he also does. He helps Parkinson's patients, and he's always.
Oh, we're gonna have him on. We're gonna have him on.
Yeah,
I
was trying to get. We're gonna get him on because he has his job, and then everything else is boxing, and he's in the gym from dusk till dawn. He's either working out for himself or he's helping somebody else. And that was kind of like what attracted me to him, was just he was so focused, and I need that one-on-one coaching. That I didn't like the classes and stuff like that, and I found him. I said, hey, do you coach boxing? He goes, yeah. And I said, listen, I want to fight, and I'll tell you what, the amount of talent and skill that he has, he took me from a person that he says Brian couldn't tie his fucking shoes when he started with me, which is true. I didn't know my left from my right, and turned me from a person that wanted to box to a fighter to a boxer. And it's just stick to the game plan. No, iron sharpens iron at that. He was just. And the thing is too is like we're training, and I couldn't ask more from him. We're doing 6-minute rounds on the pads, and he's doing that with me the entire time. So he's
60 years old.
60 years old. Just so I owed it to him to give him everything I had, and because I know that he was given everything that he had to make me successful at this sport. So
absolutely.
Great job.
His coach could get in the ring.
I was just going to say that. He looked like, he reminds me of a military guy, straightforward. You know what I mean? I want to have him on, and I'll tell you why. The Parkinson's thing you just touched on. I had I don't know if he might be familiar with Paul Iannuzzi out of Root Dog Boxing, has a wellness program and they work with Parkinson's and other
Yeah.
things
So
like that.
he's got a pretty good program. It's Punch for Parkinson's. I can't remember. He's gonna kill me, but it's he does classes during the day in this gym where he'll have 8 to 10 patients that he's working with, physical therapy. He's pad work. He's doing hand-eye coordination. You know, he's constantly relating the sport into a better lifestyle for people that have some of these
Yeah,
disabilities.
and he's helping give them their quality of life back. I've seen numerous of videos, spoken with numerous people that work with Parkinson's patients through boxing, and it's amazing that boxing, right? This violent sport, everybody when they watch, it's a violent sport, is helping to give Parkinson's and other people their quality of life, helping them with their balance. I've seen people with walkers come off walkers. I mean, it's just getting them to move.
Yeah.
So I definitely would love to have him on so we can talk about that. That would be great.
He's got some clients that are they got to be close to 80 years old, and they're hitting combos with Jimmy, and it's fun to watch. Like if I'm ever struggling, he's like, "Come on, my old patients can do better than you." You know what I mean? It's like a little bit of motivation on his end, but yeah, no, like to touch back on the question that you asked me, like how prepared was I for Lozada? It was Jimmy he paved the way and just, you know, stuck to the guidelines, stick to the training regimen, and regardless of whoever we fought, you know, we knew that we would be ready to go.
You want to be in shape and that cardio and all that, and you guys, it was an action-packed fight all three rounds. Justin chimes in. He says, speaking of your trainer, you could tell he's an old school grit, lace up the boots kind of guy. It's awesome meeting Jimmy as well. It was awesome meeting Jimmy. Great guy. Like I said, he just reminded me of that straightforward guy, and that's great. So
there was people asking him if he would, you know, does he have is he fighting? When's his fight? And he's like,
I thought he was fighting. I thought he was a fighter.
Yeah.
I said, you fight, and he's like, no. I'm like, oh, okay, wow.
You know, the funny thing is, I told him too, because I knew that Steve was looking for a fighter at the end of the night or whatever. I know there was the last second changes, and I looked at Jimmy. I said, Jimmy, just put your freaking gloves on. You can go in. And he's like, kind of looked at me like, yeah, you know, I don't know if I want.
Yeah.
But he could have gone in and definitely went the distance with somebody.
It was an amazing night to meet you. And I know you're a Mashpee. Am I saying it correctly?
Mashpee.
Mashpee. I'm from Fall River, Massachusetts. It's near Boston, so I'm saying it correctly. Okay. Yeah, man. How do you balance that, being a police officer and boxing and training, and how are you
I think so. How I actually related it, the way I related it the first time, or I actually kind of thought about it, was Jimmy said to me prior to the fight, he goes, "We can coach you on everything. I can't teach you or coach you on the waiting and anticipation process prior to the fight." And that's more experience based, and you got to get through it and figure out how to manage that. And I thought about it, and like I woke up that morning and I had a 46 beat per minute heart rate, and I was like, all right, I'm nice and calm, I'm relaxed. And as the day progressed, obviously that changed, but prior to the fight, I'm lacing up and I'm like, I know I'm anxious, but it's nothing that I've never seen before. So if we relate it to law enforcement, there's times where we have to be violent, right? It sounds tough to say, but there's times where we have to be the most violent person in the room, and there's no planning in that. It's just sometimes it just freaking happens and you got to go.
Right.
And at the same time, within the same shift, you might have to be that teddy bear for somebody and go
after
the other way.
You just came off somewhere where you needed
exactly.
To. Right.
So I think that stress inoculation that I've already kind of bed through helped me get into that fight a little bit calmer than maybe someone that hasn't seen that in that type of experience. And I know that just being in law enforcement helped me stay calm, manage my composure, you know, breathe properly, be able to get into that fight without exhausting myself prior. You know, and I think a lot, and it's not just me, I think any person in law enforcement can definitely relate to that. But
yeah, absolutely. But I think on the boxer's side, I think you the way you explained it well. Is you controlled that mental process of boxing. You didn't let your thoughts run away.
Right.
That's how you
Yeah, I
kept
mean,
yourself
you
calm.
knew that
And
it was definitely nerve wracking. I walked out from where we were getting changed to the kind of where that bar area was, like where the boxers. I did that walk probably about 10 times. I don't know if anybody noticed, but I walked out by myself and I just walked down that corridor because I didn't want the first time that I saw the crowd. This is my
Wow.
first fight. So the first time that I saw the crowd, I didn't want it to be go time. I wanted myself to already have that image painted in my head.
Yeah.
And the crowd, it sounds corny, but the crowd gets you emotional when you go out and they're cheering, they're freaking looking at you. They, obviously the alcohol is flowing, everybody's going freaking crazy. That can heighten my level of emotion in different ways. So I walked out and sat in that threshold of that door looking at that ring probably about 10 times just to get that nervous rack out. So when it was actually my time to go, it was mentally, I was like, I've already seen this before.
Yeah,
And
and that's the part, that mental part, and I think that's where a lot of fighters, young fighters, just fighters in general, have that. Don't It's hard for them to deal with that mental part of the boxing. Just let me read you this real quick. Iceman John Scully. I don't know if you're familiar with him. If not, look him up. Iceman John Scully. This is a quote from him. It says, "The weight in the dressing room before a professional boxing match would strip and I would say professional or amateur boxing match, would strip a man who never fought before of whatever pride, desire, courage, and heart he thought he had."
oh yeah,
Just sitting there
100%.
waiting. And that's why when we talk about the mental part, and you said, so it's like a two-part question. You said that being in a law enforcement, you felt that helped you to be able to deal with that mental part of boxing. So my question to you would be, how has boxing helped you in law enforcement?
Yeah, I think that first of all, the athleticism that's required to get in the ring has been definitely helped me out when it comes to and also not just the athleticism. Let's talk physical and mental. The physical
Yeah.
part is you just being athletic, able to do the job at a high level, high heart rate, maintain composure, able to successfully bring yourself down and make a decision. Obviously, that would be best for everybody involved. But the mental part of it allows you of boxing, like just all that going in there knowing that the person in that ring wants to, behead you, let's say, and
Yeah.
kick the crap out of you.
Steve's loving that.
Yeah,
My wife just laughed from the other room.
yeah. But yeah, I think just the discipline. I mean, boxing is such a disciplined sport, and you don't really understand it. And I've only been in this for a little bit, but I've learned a lot about myself when it comes to how to manage stress, how to compose myself under a stressful situation, how to maintain my breathing, discipline, how to focus and have some sort of goal at the end of like our goal obviously was to have a successful fight, but training up to that was definitely, it's a grind, but it taught me a lot. And when you go back and you relate that to law enforcement, when you're managing a scene or you're talking to somebody that could potentially be violent, not only do you have that physical ability to protect yourself, but you also have that mental ability to maintain calmness, keep your composure, make a sound decision. And, I don't know. It sounds, I could go
No,
on
it's
about it, but...
no, it doesn't. Right. So let me if I can. I'm trying. So you said that the mental part of it is what's important, and I think most in any sport, the mental part is right. So you want to visualize. You want to be able to control those thoughts in your head. You know what I mean? And I think you did that well. You know what I mean? And that's not easy to do. You know what I mean? And then you said, we planned to have a successful night, but you had a successful night.
Right.
You boxed beautifully.
Thank you. Yeah.
Listen, I've been following boxing my whole life. It goes back to the 40s, and my grandfathers and my uncles were fighting in Madison Square Garden. We can get into that another day. So you had a successful night. You didn't get knocked out. You didn't get knocked down. You threw punches. You threw it when it meant. You brought pressure when you needed to bring pressure. You used your jab great. I like the overhand right. You threw the uppercut. So you had a successful night. The outcome was out of your control.
Yeah,
Right?
and I'm honestly,
that's the only thing you can't control.
I'm happy.
Is that
I'm
decision,
happy
right?
with it. You know, guys, guys get
just like I tell young fighters and young ball players, because I'm a baseball guy, don't get up to bat trying to hit a home run. You can't make it happen. The pitcher's got to make a mistake in order for you to hit a home run. Any home run is because the pitcher made a mistake. Knockout. Right. It's only because the other guy made a mistake, right? And he didn't make too many mistakes. So it was a great fight, and I think the styles of both of you, and I'm getting excited, but I think the styles that you had made for it to be that type of fight. And to be honest with you, I had it very close. I had it very close.
I almost was joking. I was like, I feel like this kid knew everything about me prior to getting in the ring, and I know that he didn't. I know that there's no way that he did, because we kept our training circle pretty tight, Jimmy and I. But you know, I'm not going to say it on here, because you know, if anybody I'm going to box in the future, I'm not going to give you my weakness, but I have something that I got to work on as far as where my hands go. And he picked it right up. I even asked him. I mean, the kid Alex was such a good dude. Like, I talked to him after, and I'm like, "Hey, Alex, you know, fight's over." We shook hands, and we had some kind words to say about each other. And I said, "Hey, Alex, what did you see?" You know, because I know I landed some, but he tuned me up. He landed some good punches.
I think he had a little reach on you, know?
Yeah, I know he was definitely able to get in that phone booth, let's say, and it's just like, I'm more of a, I don't want to say, I find myself a little bit more, I want to say defensive, but a little bit more, I say tactically sound when it comes to like keeping my distance, keep the jab. He came out 100 miles an hour, and I adapted to him. And that was the thing that I knew right off the get-go, that I had to change my fighting style to his, because he was definitely a great aggressive punch throwing boxer. And not only did he keep the jab out there, but he was going with jabs and like a 1-2 flurry, 1-2-3 flurry. Like, he didn't just pepper me with 1 or 2 jabs here and there. When he came at you, he came at you. And he also was very good with, if I threw something at him, he made me pay for it. And that, you know, especially a first time boxer, that got in my head a little bit. I knew if I'm going to throw something at him, I know that there's a price to pay for it. And I had to give him credit for that, because he was incredible with being able to give me back what I gave him. But he, like I said, I talked to him after, and he told me what he saw. And, you know, we have that respect for each other, where he was like, "Hey, this is what I saw, and this is why I hit you when I hit you." And it's funny, Jimmy is probably listening right now. He knows exactly what it is. And but yeah, it's just something that we got to work on. And I know that when I see that type of fighter again, I think I can adapt to it pretty well, because I got to admit, like, I mean, obviously we've sparred and we've gotten the ring a bunch, but he's probably the toughest kid I've gotten in the ring with. You know? He was a badass dude, a wicked nice kid. I got nothing but respect for him. And
absolutely, man. He had, you know, it just went his way that night, you know, and it's going to go your way too, you know. I think. Yeah. I think
my wife said it the best. She's like, if you didn't train as hard as you did, that kid would have absolutely freaking destroyed you. Because he was just like, she said it. She's like, I'm so thankful that, you know, Jimmy and you guys trained, got yourself ready to go for this fight, because I don't think if I trained as hard as I did, I mean, that he was, I got to give him credit. Obviously, we're all professionals. That he was a badass dude.
Yeah, that's good, and it's good, because let me just stop you right there, because this is what, and I like that, because, you know, guys that come on, yeah, I beat him, yeah, but he wasn't good. Well, you're saying the guy wasn't good, but you beat him, so you're not giving yourself any, you know what I mean? And I think you're right that he was a tough fight for you. But you did a lot of good things. What did you learn about yourself in that fight?
There was a coach. One of the female coaches approached me after. I forget her name. She was from Rhode Island State Police. She had the two, like, I don't know what the hell they call the little pigtails or whatever. But she
that's the idol. That's the
idol.
idol.
So her coach, her coach was like, "Hey, how'd it go?" I said, "Yeah, I didn't get the points. Great freaking fight." And he asked me, he said, "What did you do right?" And I didn't expect that because usually it's like, "Oh, what did you do wrong?"
Yeah.
There was a lot of things that I felt, especially when I went back and watched the video, that I liked, and hearing some feedback from some spectators and friends. I thought the footwork was good. I thought I could have, there's a couple times I felt like I could have pivoted a little bit differently, but there was a parry right that I was working with. So every time he threw a jab, I was able to parry that and pay him back a little bit. A couple combos worked. I felt like it was good. I was jabbing out. I know he's more of that phone booth style fighter, so he had me inside a lot, but I was definitely able to back out of it, jab my way out, reset, get back in there, and see if we can make each other pay for it. And I learned a lot. I've been watching these videos a lot just to try to pick myself apart, but that's the problem with this.
Don't over.
No, I mean the problem with this is like, and my wife says it. She's like, you are so freaking competitive, and I don't know. I don't think it's a downfall, but I'm constantly trying to be better. I wouldn't say perfect, but I want to be better.
Yeah.
And you can only be you got to be your own, your own critic sometimes. So
And the worst thing is getting in that ring and the brain's going, right? You want it to be muscle memory. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I said it. You want to have
my
that.
buddy.
I thought you could have moved your head a little more. You know what I mean? I thought you could have doubled up on that jab to close that distance.
Yeah,
your footwork
100%.
was great. And getting off the line. A lot of guys, they throw a jab and they stay on line. You want to get offline. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The footwork was great. Good foot placement. I think you're being trained very well. I would stick with it. You're a great guy. You work your ass off. You're very talented. And you looked really good in there. You know what I mean? For having your first fight. I've seen worse. What did somebody said? Top 2 fight, in my opinion, of the night. Action packed. You did great, man. So the thing is, it's just getting better, right? So the more we do something, the more confident we get, and the brain remembers more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that was great.
Yeah, and getting back to Steve, this is an event you put on that you're having fighters like this. That's going to make you feel great.
So here's what keeps me humble, though, right? Because I could take the accolades and go, yeah, I put on a great show, and I could let my head blow up, right? I mean, we all could. Listen to this dude talking right now.
I know.
There's nothing better than that. And I'm not trying to pat him on the back because he fought his ass off. But it all comes together, right? So he's not he might say I'm watching the videos beating myself up. He's not. He's getting ready for the next fight. He's just saying the wrong words. And I'm sure Jimmy's going to say, so quick story. I walked up to Jimmy. He looked at me. I looked at him. I said, "Oh, I think I know you from when we were kids." He goes, "Oh, I think I recognize you too." So we let that old Clint Eastwood thing from that Marine movie he was in. We chewed some of the same dirt in Boston. Great dude. If I might send you Brian's video when he's hitting the mitts and Jimmy's got his tank top on. Him and Brian are both ripped, shredded, in shape. The dude's 60. He's training him fantastically. He put up a video. He put up a thing tonight of Brian leaning over the ropes, and he put listening to his coach. It don't get that sentence right there.
Yeah,
that
video
right there
I saw
sums
that.
it all up.
My buddy, that's my favorite video. Aside from getting in the ring, but my buddy sent me that.
Post it. I want to see it. Post it so I'm able to see it because Brian.
Yeah, I'll show you.
We're friends on Facebook.
Jimmy's leaning over. I'm in the ring. We both lean over. We kind of go ear to ear, but I'm kind of like looking in the crowd, and you could see him telling me. And fuck, man, I can't even remember. There was so much going on. We talk about
your concentration.
You talk about like the auditory exclusion when you're in the ring. Like that is real because Jimmy was like, "Hey, did you hear me yelling?" I'm like, "Dude, I didn't hear freaking. You could have shot an AK-47 in there. I would have never heard it." But we talk about like we talk about the training your stress and inoculating yourself into that environment. Like auditory exclusion is real. And like Jimmy was like, "Dude, the next day he's like, bro, I lost my voice. Could you not hear me?" I was like, "Jimmy, like I said, you could have had a megaphone, man. I would have never heard you." Because you get, you're focused and there's so much going on. And when your body does go into that fight or flight, and when you go into that fight, you lose a lot of your senses. You get the tunnel vision, you get the auditory exclusion, you have you know, you got someone that's trying to freaking behead you. You got to go in and you got to focus. And that's another thing that, you know, training wise, that I would definitely start to try to get myself a little bit better with, is just, you know, allowing my senses to really open up, lose that tunnel vision, allow, you know, that auditory exclusion to be minimized a little bit.
Yeah,
And
you want to take a little bit of that. And just listening to you talk, man, so intelligent, and you know so much about the sport, you know, and you're saying all the right things. It's like Justin, Justin, I would like to take his fight, play his fight, right, and have his voice talking right now. We're gonna take a clip from the show and put it over his fight. It's because it's Brian. I'm telling you, you got what it takes. I say don't overthink. Train every day. Justin, you want to
you gave me a good idea. You know I hate doing this, but Brian, I think it'd be a great idea. Steve and Jerry is we get the either clips or whatever of the fight, and it'd be awesome to have Brian back on with you to be able to play the video. And
I want to do that. Yeah,
we'll get, you know what I mean? We'll lower the sound up, and you guys can just chop it up. You guys can talk about what you see. If that's something that you and Brian are interested in, we can get the video up, and you guys can just commentate over it. And I think that'd make for a good show.
Brian, what do you think? You want to do that?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Down the road, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'll just reach out to you. I want to get. I'm gonna reach out to Kelly, see if she can send me that fight, and I can look on the app.
If you check out Jimmy's Facebook, it's Jimmy McGee. And I think him and Steve are friends, and obviously we're friends. You can see him on my page.
Right.
But he
I'll
posted it.
I definitely want to have him. You know what would be great? You know what would be great is watching the fight this past weekend with you, and then me, you, and your trainer, and we can just chop it up.
Yeah, it's almost like I was thinking about it the other day, like, and Jimmy's funny too. Like, Jimmy texted me today. He's like, you know, I didn't sleep last night. I was thinking about the fight. Like, he was into it just as much as I was, as far as, like, we talk about sleep loss, and we talk about the mental aspect and the mental preparation. And then, you know, we talk about the fight after, and you know, like, you think it's over, but you go home and you replay the fight in your head again, and you replay some, you know, I was replaying outcomes that didn't happen that I wished happened. And, you know, again, it's 2 or 3 nights in a row, you're up staring at the ceiling. You're like, fuck, I just thought about boxing for another 45 to an hour.
Boxing will do that.
It's time for bed. And there was you know, it's crazy, like, you know, how much mental preparation an actual boxer needs. And I'm brand new to the sport. It brings so much more respect to the people that have been doing this prior to us, and the people that do it better than us, and the professionals and the amateurs, and at all different levels. It's incredible. And it's almost like, and I think, JJ, you talked about it last time I was on the show, about bringing boxing into high school.
Yes,
and a younger level.
I got that question written down.
Yeah, and it's almost like, now that I've done it and I've experienced it, I know that there's such value in that sport when it comes to, you know, they say it's a lonely sport, right? And I think it's a lonely sport, but it also allows you to find yourself. And you know, we talk about mental anxieties and kids in high school that are trying to find some sort of passion for a sport, or just an art, or even like a hobby. And it has so much value beyond what's in the ring. Like, we talk about health, like my doctor is like, I'm 39 years old. He's like, dude, your numbers are in, like, good cholesterol, bad cholesterol, heart rate, my EKG, my head, everything was incredible. And you got to contribute that back to the preparation for the fight, right? All the training and all that high intensity stuff, and the mental aspect, the mental preparedness that you need to have. And I mean, there's so much value in it. It goes beyond the 20 by 20 ring.
And that's the thing, right? It's the teaching kids how to deal with certain situations, right? They're learning to keep in shape, and they're learning, you know, we always talk about mental health, and I think boxing could play a huge part in that. Boxing could play a huge part in bullying, and all that. Just like your coach Jimmy working with Parkinson patients through boxing, I think we can have the same effect working with high school kids doing boxing. You know, a lot of these kids are not the type of kids that are going to want to play a team sport. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I really believe that boxing can do a lot of good, like you're noticing now. I've known for a while, and that's why I always keep talking about, boxing in high school and how great it would, not only in high school, in the middle school too. I mean,
Right.
boxing is sport. It's regulated. There's weight classes. There's lots and lots of sports that lots and lots of rules that are in the sport. It's not just going there and throw punches.
Yeah.
But I really feel that it would benefit high school kids the way boxing's benefited you right now.
Yeah.
Steve, what do you think? You want to touch on that?
I think I said it before twice. I think it should start in elementary school.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. So, we start developing when we're such and such an age, but I love the idea of high school, but I also love the idea of, as we're developing as kids, like Connor from Bernardo's Boxing, little machine, that kid, his little brother, little machines, and they're getting it. And I watched their video. Dave had sent me his son's video. I'm like, good, look at the dedication from this little kid, throwing combos, listening to his coach, doing the right thing. High school's great. I'd say kindergarten all the way up. Yeah, in some capacity, maybe high school first, but I think kids should start.
No, you're right. You're right. I mean, Brian said it right, man. I mean, he's seeing it now, that the effects it's having on him health wise and mental wise. He's seeing it, and that's why I've always wanted boxing. I always said boxing would help with bullying. Brian described it very well when he said he's seeing, the health, the mental part, all that stuff having an effect. He just said his doctor says all his numbers are really good, and he says that's because of training for the fight. Could you imagine the benefit it could have on a street kid in high school?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right? And he notices that. He starts to see what Brian's seeing right now at a younger age. Who knows? I've interviewed a young kid that started boxing because he was being bullied in high school, but he took up boxing not to go back and beat his bully up. He was more confident about himself. He started competing and started winning. He started participating in the classroom when he didn't do that. And that all happened through boxing. And he wasn't bullied no more. Not that he could box, but that the confidence he had in himself, that he could do something and be proud of that. And building a relationship with your coach, too, goes a long way. A lot of these young kids today are growing up in single-family homes. I know I did growing up, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of things that can happen through boxing. But, Brian, I think you said it best. Go ahead, Steven, you want to say something?
I just want – so back to that post that his coach puts up, listening to his coach. Let the word float. To – if Jimmy didn't think Brian wasn't listening, he wouldn't have put the post up. So that's the kind of trainer that he is listening to his coach. He might not have heard him too good in the ring, but he listened to everything he taught him before he stepped through those ropes. And his coach, I know his coach is a tough sumbitch. His coach wouldn't have put that up unless Brian was listening to his coach.
It's funny that you say
impressed.
that.
I'm humbled that you're better than you think you are. I'm humbled that you think you're better than you think you are, Brian.
No, I know. We can always
I didn't say you couldn't improve. We can always do better.
We all hold ourselves pretty high. I think we could all do better on every end. But yeah, there's I don't know if I said it to Jimmy or not, but there's what they coach you. If you take 100% of that, you're gonna go in and apply 50% of it in the ring, because obviously, just like any great coach, he delivered to me what we had for a game plan going in, and it was, we had a plan and we stuck to it for the most part, but things change in there, and I look at it, I'm like, you know what, we stuck to the plan, but I think we stuck to about half the plan because again, like I said before, Lozada was very good at taking me out of comfort zones that I wanted to fall into in the ring, and he challenged me in different ways that JJ brought it up, like, what did you learn about yourself? And I learned, we learned how to, I guess, acclimate to what's in front of you. Unfortunately, I had to kind of conform to his style a little bit, which is a lot faster than what I was used to, but you can tell as the second and third round came along that we both kind of like came down. I think he came down to my, or maybe I went up to his level and he came down to mine a little bit as far as the level of intensity.
Let's stop. You didn't. You never.
I'm talking
shrink
about.
yourself.
I'm talking about the level of.
Yeah, I
energy.
understand he may be a
came
little
in.
bit more
He
experienced or
came in
whatever,
way
but
more energetic than what I expected, especially for. I knew Jim, and Jimmy prepared me for that. He said, "Hey, the first round is going to be absolutely a Donnybrook between both of you guys because the energy's high, your adrenaline's high, the crowd's roaring. You want to get in there, you want to throw the punch, you want to throw the knockout. It's going to be crazy. The second and third round, you're going to start having more composed fighting style, and that's when we start to focus and dial into what the actual plan is, and keeping the left up, throwing the jabs, working combos, quick and easy 1-2s, getting out, pivoting, staying off the ropes, owning the ring, staying in the middle. That first round, and that's the thing I learned about this, is the first round, like, you throw all that crap out the window because we only got 9 minutes or what I think was less than that, right? It's
2-minute rounds.
2-minute
Yeah,
rounds, so we got
2
less than that. So you got to get in there, and you want to land your message early, but there's got to be a time where a fighter needs to turn into a boxer before the final bell. And with Lozada and I, that boxing, I think, really started to show within the second and third round, where we both kind of composed each other and got shots where we needed them, and it wasn't just an all-out Donnybrook. Is the first round? I watched the first round on the video, and I'm like, holy shit, we both just came out in the middle and just started pounding the crap out of each other. So yeah, it was. I definitely learned a lot from it. It was definitely I learned a lot about myself. I'll just say that.
It's not easy. You know what I mean? I thought you did well, man. Again, and throwing play. It takes a lot to get in that ring. It's something that not everybody can do. You know what I mean? And for you to be able to do that is great. And being a police officer and balancing the work and what you're more than a police officer at work. You must run into all kind of different scenarios and got to deal with that. And then you go into the gym, but it's going to be good that you have that outlet, Brian, right? That if you have a bad day out in the field or out where you're working in the streets, to have that opportunity, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to get this off. I'm going to hit the bag. We talk about that. That's going to be great, man.
Yeah. We all have bad days, and there's people channel it differently. But I read a quote the other day. It said, "If you're tired, just do it tired." You know what I mean? Don't quit. If you're tired, do it tired.
Yep.
And Jimmy has been very motivational when it comes down to like getting in the gym. And he reads me like a freaking book. Like, there's days you go in there, you're dragging ass, and you're coming off a double, you're coming off a shitty day, bad sleep. I got a 9-month-old baby, and so she's up every 2 hours, and obviously I'm no different than any other first-time father, but like, yeah, there's times where you go in there, you're like, fuck, man, I don't want to be here today. And then you get in, you throw a couple, you work a little bit, you hit the pads, you get a little workout in, and then at the end, you're like, I'm so glad I got in that ring.
Those are the best days to go. That's the best time to go.
I would have been dragging ass all day until I went to bed, and then I got in the gym, woke myself up. I'm mentally ready for the day, but I'm awake. I'm energetic. Like, there's so many different, benefits to just getting your ass in the gym, regardless of how you feel. Having a good motivational coach that's able to recognize that, press you a little bit to get you to that next level, make sure you're improving, and walk out of there feeling satisfied, energetic, and ready to go. And
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
I could talk. I know this thing's probably. I could talk for 3 hours. For this.
No, you're good. You're good. I love it. You make it easy. I was like, yeah. I just ask you a question and let you go. You know what I mean? But boxing's funny like that. You're going to learn about a whole lot. You're going to learn more your second fight. I know, but I think mentally, you're ready. I think physically you're ready. The technique of the sport, you're getting there. You're going to be there. You're there already. Everybody needs a little bit of polish and a little bit of work. Or, you got to, you know what I mean? To stay sharp. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
I think it's amazing what you do with your career as a police officer and boxing and balancing that. And like you said, a new father. Justin, you wanted to jump in. Now's the time. If you want to jump in, here he is. Okay, you got a question. I know you're back. Like, he hates coming on, but sometimes there's a question.
Wait,
I can't-
wait a minute. Wait a minute. You say he hates to come on. He comes on all the time.
No, but he really doesn't like it.
He comes on I love when he comes on. He loves it.
No, now you're making me feel bad about it.
Hammer time.
No,
It's hammer time.
look at, he's got the Mission 22 hat on, bro.
That's right.
And I got actually, and my shirt. These are the We Working shirts, right? I think it was fitting. The back says, "You will not outwork me." That's what the back of the
Hell
shirt
yeah.
says.
Hell yeah.
Right? If anybody's at We Working, we're not sponsored, but We Working's got a bunch of motivational quotes on the t-shirts.
That's
But
sick.
anyways, just because I heard a couple things, right, that I want to make a couple quick comments on, right, is one, I made a comment and it was top two fight of the night. I'm just going to clarify. 1A and 1B was definitely Lawrence Scott and Gonzalez, and then Heidel and Malpezzo, 1A, 1B. And I think, Brian, I put you in that second spot because you could, in real time, live, watch the adjustments, watch the fatigue. You just saw every part of it in real live time. And I think that beat, out of all the fights, you probably had the most exciting when it came to that part. So I just wanted to open up about that. But secondly,
thank you.
We talked about your coach. Obviously, you guys talked about your coach, Jimmy, which it was a pleasure to meet him there. Big Jack. But you also made comments, too, about, he was losing sleep and having kind of the same emotional kind of roller coaster that you did pre and post fight. I'm going to say this right now that I'm getting into the coaching world, my kid. If your coach does not experience those things, you have the wrong coach. I'm sorry. That's just the truth. If your coach does not experience those things with you and feel the same way about things as you have the wrong coach. So that should be a round of applause. That's a good match right there, because people might call me crazy. I'm coaching a 6-year-old football team, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I get hyped up with them. I get sad with them. I want them to win. I want to see the best things out of them. I want to be on that roller coaster, because then you know that the pairing is right. So that's 2. 3, boxing in high school. Jerry's been doing with his grandson, right? Doing the mitts. 6 years old, you can already see what it does for your mental, for your confidence, for your coordination, for you knowing, right? And Jerry knows he would never ask Justin to do it, right? Justin would have to ask Pepe, can we do the mitts? Same thing when it comes to practice. Listen, we're not going to ask you to do these things. You need to want to do them. And now you start seeing 5, 6, 7-year-old kids come together and say, Coach, I want to do this. Coach, let me do this. You can already see, and that all stemmed from Pepe coming to the house and hitting the mitts with a 5-year-old kid, right? That's what it all stemmed from. So that's just a couple of things that I saw on my end. Brian, it was a pleasure meeting you. Obviously, I hope we see you again, Steven. It was a pleasure
absolutely.
meeting you. Finally putting a face and a handshake to it. So, Jerry, you're killing it as usual. Show was awesome.
Thank you, brother.
That's all I wanted to get off my chest, and I'll back up.
Yep, thank you. And I just want to, Carl Pyers just chimed in. He says, talk about networking. The Veterans Association of Bristol County in Fall River was so blown away by Mission 22 at the fight. They're inviting Mission 22 to set up a booth at the annual VABC car show this summer. Hundreds and hundreds attend. I can tell you, I've been to one of their car shows. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. So that's good to hear from Mission 22. So all this, and I met people. I've met Brian. I've met Steve. All through boxing. You know what I mean? So it never ends. And Brian, I just want to take this opportunity to tell you thank you so much for coming on the show tonight and taking time out of you. I'm sure your busy schedule. Is there anything you wanted to say before I let you go?
No, I just wanted to, it was a pleasure meeting you at the fight. We obviously we've done this before. We're friends on Facebook, but
we're going to do it again. We're going to do it again.
Absolutely. I'm always, me and Steve have built a pretty good rapport, so we're usually in touch, but it was a pleasure meeting you, seeing Steve for the, in person for the first time, and then being brought into this culture it was definitely a pleasure to be there Saturday and meet everybody. So thank you for having me on. And I know that there's a million other fighters that could have came on. And so I appreciate you guys bringing me on and let me talk and telling my side of it. But thank you. It's
absolutely. You've been on before, and I could have had a lot of other fighters, but I wanted Steve to get somebody that was on that card. And when he told me you would come on, I was like, yes,
Oh,
because
yeah.
your fight was just that good. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So
No, I
again,
feel
thank
like
you
I
to
could
you,
go
your
on for.
coach. Let's reach out to Jimmy, have him reach out to me so we can make that connection, so we
I
can have
think
him.
he's listening. Jimmy texted me. He should be listening, so or
All
watching.
right.
So
All
we'll
right. One
I'll make
last
sure I talk with him.
question. Somebody's
Yeah.
got one last question. Can I be invited to the next trip to the dog park? Look at this. Look. You got Steve
Oh,
with
yeah,
his
there
dog.
it is.
It's showing me with Zeus and him with his canine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't
That's
on purpose
awesome.
today either, Brian. That was not
That's
on purpose
amazing,
today.
dude.
Oh, I saw the two dog pictures together, and I'm like, all right,
So
someone
that,
put that together.
he put me up first, and he goes, "Hey, do you have that picture of Brian?" I didn't know which
Yeah.
one he meant, so I just sent the one with the dog. And
Yeah,
then all of
yeah,
a sudden, we
yeah.
were both standing there with the dogs.
That's
Great,
awesome.
great stuff. And now that, not to take
Justin,
up
I
too
want
much
that
of your
picture.
time, but we'll get into next time we have you on. We'll get on to your partner, your
Yeah,
canine.
I could talk whatever. I'm here all day. Like I don't know how long you got.
I mean,
but...
no, that's well, we're coming up on closing time.
Oh, geez.
That fast when you're having fun. Brian, again, thank you so much. God bless. Be safe out there. We're
Yeah,
gonna have
you
you
too,
on
guys.
again where we can watch your fight and hopefully have Jimmy on and you and Steve, and we can all chomp it up a bit and have a little bit of conversation about boxing. Again, Brian,
man.
be safe. We thank
Yeah,
you,
man.
man.
All
Have
right.
a great
Thank
night.
you guys
I'll
so
let you
much,
tomorrow,
man.
dog.
I'll talk to you guys
I'll
soon.
talk to you
Thank
tomorrow.
you.
Thanks, Brian.
Yep. Thank you.
I mean, Steve, this is a young man. Hearing him speaking like he's here speaking on the mental part of boxing, you can see he gets it, right? Justin touched on a good point where when he was fighting, you can see the adjustment happening right in front of you. He's still young. He's gonna be listen, you may be a number. Your age is a number, but the way you keep in shape and how many fights you have tells us your age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's going to be a tough one to come. He's going to have a lot of good fights for a long time. And it's exciting watching him. Steve, great show. A great event, packed house. You must feel really good about it. I know your head's not going to grow because you're not that guy. But what's next for the Massachusetts State Police boxing team? I know I'm asking you real early. I mean, it's only Tuesday, and we just had this big event on Saturday. But are the wheels turning? That's what I'm trying to get.
Yeah, so I'm setting up 2 more shows for this year. One's going to be on or around August first week. Second one, another big show will be at the end of the year in either November or December, so we don't interfere with the Gold Gloves that start in February. So we got to give it a 60-day window. But I will say this: I've been to a lot of shows that we've done. That one had the most energy, the most excitement. The crowd didn't leave when the ring wasn't up on time.
Right.
They stood around, like you said. They made way so the guys could get the job done. All 4 charities came. All 4 charities had representatives from their charities there to grab the big checks. USA Boxing was there to help out with everything like they always are. So huge for them. Huge for us to have them.
And this event don't happen without USA Boxing.
No, it doesn't.
Doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't happen. So
and they did an amazing job.
No, they did a fantastic. Joni, Kevin, all of them. Joni, Kevin. I don't know the other people's names. I apologize, but they know who they are if they're watching, and I'm sure Joni will tell them. To be able to fight for 4 different charities in one night. Sometimes, in years prior, we've either lost a civil servant and fought for one charity, and I was just blessed to be able to have 4 different charities show up to one show. We've given checks to other charities that couldn't make the show, so that was probably the first one that all 4 were able to be there. Check out the boxing. Kelsey from My Brother's Keeper brought her husband. He's now hooked on boxing. Never seen it before. Never watched it before. My wife in the background that gave the Justin his Hammer nickname, she's hooked on it too. So the boxing community continues to grow as my show gets bigger and better, and it's only because you, Carl, donators, Sophia, my wife, my friends from Connecticut that came and just threw themselves in to help and sell the shirts. My wife jumping in to help sell the shirts. The place for having us. People showing up. Fighters showing up. Boxers showing up. To me, I get it. I call them both sometimes, but I'm just a dumb Irish kid. What do I know? But there are fighters and there are boxers. So technical is technical. There's brawlers. There's bangers. Yeah, they're all supposed to be boxers. We had some phenomenal fights. Like you said, every fight was packed with excitement. There wasn't I didn't see any lull in anybody getting up, leaving the room, None of that. Everybody watched every fight. Couple guys got knocked out. Anybody wants to know, the kid from Chelsea's doing great. He's fine. He's going back to training in 2 weeks. Already been cleared by his doctor. I met a lot of great people, right? I've met you, but I met you in person. I met Justin in person. I've met Carl before, but I haven't seen him for a long time. You make new friends, right? So boxing makes new friends. It makes new relationships. Social media is so okay. So we can say networking all day, right? But we, meaning this little group that's starting to get bigger, like when we have Brian on, and then Jimmy, his coach, is going to be on, and you're going to have him, and we're going to get other fighters on. It's more of I find it to be more of a friendship growing process than a networking process, because none of us are trying to get rich off doing this. We're trying to promote the sport of boxing.
Absolutely.
And I'm trying to promote, I'm trying to promote my charities. So, I mean, it goes hand in hand, right? So I have become friends with Brian. I talk to him once a week. I've become friends with Loftus. I've become friends with Bienemy. I've become great friends with you and with Justin. And my wife loves you both already. She gave me a nickname already. I mean, it's that to me is the best part. The money raised for the charities, I'm so blessed that we were able to help remember Junior Almeida the night of the show. 10 of his family, if I'm saying the number right, you saw the pictures probably, were in the ring getting the check. It doesn't get any better than that. Gillian having a table telling people it's okay to not be okay and passing out her information to get people help. My brother's keeper in attendance to help people get furniture and food that can't afford it. And black belt boxing started for kids down the Cape, because if you don't know, summertime or not, wintertime, it's dead down the Cape, and them kids got nothing better to do except to get in trouble.
I forget his name. Why?
John Hardy. John Hardy.
Yes,
USA,
yes.
USA
amazing,
official.
amazing guy, man. Amazing guy. He's a USA official, judges,
referee, the whole deal. He's on
and
a board.
Gym.
Yeah, he does it all.
Yeah,
does it all.
He's a really good dude, man.
He's hosting the junior, the King of the Ring down in Hyannis, June 28th and 29th, before I forget. But you might know that already.
Yeah, I'm going to have him on. I spoke with him a couple of times earlier on that night, so we spoke. So, hey, Steve, we'll come to the end. Again, thank you so much. We're going to have you on again. It's always a pleasure, brother.
You too, guys.
See ya. So, there you have it, folks. That was a great show. I enjoyed that. A lot of information, a lot of talking, and I tell you, man, Officer Brian, man, he's going to be good. He's going to be good. Didn't have the outcome he wanted, but I thought he did a lot of good things, and he's only going to get better, right? So I want to thank everybody for joining in. I want to say that it was a pleasure meeting Charlie. It was a pleasure meeting Kyle Pyers, Charlie Perry. Charlie and I are going to get together. We're going to do something, and we're going to talk about a special boxer out of New Bedford, Massachusetts, that I feel don't get spoken about enough. And Charlie and I are going to finally bring that story to light. I think it's an important one to be talked about. Again, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Share the show. Go over to our YouTube channel, The Neutral Corner, Massachusetts. We're the first one. Hit subscribe. Hit the little bell. You get a notification every time we're free. Go over to Facebook. Look up The Neutral Corner. Give our page a like. And when we're live, we love everybody to get involved and ask questions. You can do that right in the chat. Again, thank you, everybody. Have a great night. Everything behind a jab, and we will be okay.
Dundee, Ali's trainer, right next to me, is saying it. You may hear him. Down goes Lee.